Hello, it's that time of year again where we're harvesting our carrots grown in pots. Okay, I've already posted a couple of videos where I've done carrot reveals from pots, and as you know, I like to take the whole pot rather than individual carrots, and that's one way of trying to avoid carrot fly. But there are a few things we know about carrot fly that we can use to reduce the risk of an attack, and in this video I want to discuss them, and I'm doing that because I've had quite a few comments about carrot fly and questions about how do I avoid carrot fly and what's the best way to avoid carrot fly and can you avoid carrot fly. And this is how I try to do it year on year, growing carrots, good quality carrots, in these small 10-inch pots. Okay, so there are a few things we know about carrot fly, as I've just said, and one of those is that it's attracted by the smell of the carrots, and apparently it has a good sense of smell, a female carrot fly. What she wants to do is find your carrots, burrow down close to them in the soil and lay some eggs, and then it's good night Vienna, you've got carrot fly. So we need to prevent that happening, and there's a few ways we can do that, and let me show you some neat tricks and hacks that I use to avoid carrot fly. Firstly, 10-inch pot. You've seen these guys before, that's what I'm growing in. This is simply a piece of plastic mesh that I've cut to form a grid pattern. You've seen those before. What I do when I plant my carrot seeds is to fill this pot within 1/4 of an inch of the brim, sit the mesh on top and plant one seed every other square. Okay, now what does that do for us in respect of carrot fly? Well, it means we're not going to have to thin those carrots out, and if we're not going to have to thin those carrots out, then we're not going to provide a way in for the carrot fly, because usually what happens is as you thin carrots out you actually crush the leaves, and that probably releases the carroty smell that the carrot fly homes in on. So if you don't thin your carrots out, then there's less likelihood of that smell being released. And when we come to harvest our carrots, if I was to harvesting this pot but not this pot, then I would take this pot down the garden well away from this pot to harvest these carrots, because I know that when I empty the pot out, some of these leaves will get crushed and there will be a release of the smell of carrots. So rather than do it right next to some carrots that are still growing, I take it away from those carrots, just as a precaution really. Okay, now I have produced videos showing how I sow the carrots thinly, how I grow the carrots and how I harvest the carrots, and you'll find a video on the channel somewhere, HGV, how to grow carrots start to finish. That will show you me using this grid pattern to sow the seeds. It'll show the carrots growing and it'll show the carrots being harvested. So if you want to watch that video, HGV, how to grow carrots start to finish, then you'll see me doing that. Now there are other ways that carrot fly can be deterred. You can cover your carrots with fleece. Now I don't do that, and I'm not too sure how I would do it, bearing in mind these are growing in pots. If you're growing in raised beds, you'd probably simply roll your fleece out over your carrots, prop it up on sticks, use some very thin, fine netting to produce a flight barrier. Okay, so what's a flight barrier? Well, apparently the flies lay their eggs around developing carrots, and the larvae, once they've hatched, burrowed into the roots. But the female carrot fly can't fly, or prefers not to fly, any higher than 60 centimeters from the ground. Now how we know that, I don't know. That equates to 24 inches, by the way, there or thereabouts. But we do know that, and how we know that, I don't know, but we do. So what if we could grow these guys higher than that from the ground? That would be another way of deterring carrot fly. I'm going to show you how to do that now if you're growing in pots. But one more thing I will mention, and then we'll adjust the camera and I'll show you how to get these guys out of the flight range of the carrot fly. That is to tell you about carrot fly resistant carrot varieties. There are two that I'm familiar with, and that is flyaway and resistor fly. How they have been bred and how they've become carrot fly resistant, I have no idea. But that's a selling feature. They're usually a wee bit more expensive than standard carrot seeds because of the development costs. But if you're bothered by carrot fly, there are carrot fly resistant seeds on the market that you might want to try. Now then, let me take you along this path and let me show you how I get these above the strike range of the female carrot fly. How I get these above 60 centimetres, 24 inches from the ground. Let's go, come on. Okay, this is one of my pots of carrots and it's in a 10-inch pot. So already those carrots are 10 inches from the ground. Would you agree? Those carrots are growing 10 inches above the level of this path. Yeah? Okay, now watch this. Just suppose we take a 10-inch pot, stand it like that, and then we put this 10-inch pot on top of that 10-inch pot. Well, now we're 20 inches above the level of the path, aren't we? That's where the carrots are growing now. We've got them up 20 inches. And if you want to cut, I'm not too sure if you'll see this, but if you can count the bricks in the brickwork, so you can see how tall this is standing. Now this level here, I've measured it, it's 70 centimetres, about 27 inches, something like that. So if we could get it up that high, we're well outside the range. I mean, this may do. This 20 inches may do. And that's one way of doing it. But just let me show you this. How's that? Simply by adding 2 house bricks, we've now got the top of this pot up to 20, hold on, I've got a tape. We've got the top of that pot up to 2 foot, which is 60 centimetres. How good is that? How good is that? Now be careful if you do this, because these pots could quite easily blow over off a stand like this, and that certainly isn't a bench seat. These pots are lightweight, so don't try and make a bench seat like this to sit on, otherwise you'll collapse the pots. But I mean, if you've got lots of pots, you can put more pots underneath to get added strength. But yeah, that's how to get these guys up above the altitude that these carrot flies can make. The altitude, we're talking carrot flies, get a grip. Yeah, so that's another way of doing it. So that's a number of ways of trying to avoid carrot fly, isn't it? You may want to try some of them, you may want to try all of them, you may want to try none of them. But here at Homegrown Veg, we believe that if we can keep the carrot fly away, then we should make the effort. and we make the effort by initially sowing these seeds thinly so that we don't need to thin them out. When we do take carrots, we take a pot full, we don't take individual carrots, and we go to the other end of the garden to empty the pot out, and we stand them as high as we can within the garden so that we can get them higher than the carrot fly likes to fly. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if there are any other ways of avoiding carrot fly that you want to tell us about, please do in the comments, and we'll pass that information on. Okay, so this is Homegrown Veg signing out.